Welcome to another episode of Pewology. This is the show where the people at the pews get to weigh in on a whole bunch of issues. Sometimes they are spiritual, sometimes they are relational, sometimes they are political. That's never good. And sometimes, I don't know. I don't even know. Societal? I'm not sure. That's something in between. All right, let's jump into it quick. I mentioned something on Sunday that I thought was worth a second go-around with you guys. I mentioned, I didn't even plan on mentioning it. It just kind of came up in passing. I'm not even sure how I got to the point. But I was talking to young people about the idea that what if you called life something that actually wasn't worthy of life, right? Like you invested your life in a way that was very short-sighted, temporary, unimportant, non-eternal, insignificant, but you were thinking that that's what you wanted in the moment, right?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of giving that, and then I spun it, and I gave an illustration, which I always hesitate to do because then I'm like, people are going to misunderstand this. But I spun it and said, hey, have you noticed that even the adults in the room, we tend to, when speaking to like a 17-year-old, 18-year-old that's about to start what would typically society would call their adult life or their young adult life, we talk negatively about the very things that are most valuable to us. So if it's marriage, children, those kind of even career, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we'll talk very negative about the things that we would all die for. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, so like if you're when's
I'm
the
not
last
following yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
so to an 18-year-old we'll say, "Oh, you need to wait a long time before you have kids."
Oh.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like as if it's a negative
like
thing.
You bring up marriage.
Oh, don't tie yourself down. Don't tie yourself down.
Let's have a conversation.
You talk about dying for. I mean, I wouldn't die for a career.
But you die for your kids.
Oh, for the kids, yeah, but not for a career.
I know, but you'll say to your kids too, "Oh, but you need to think, take your time before you have any kids. Take your time before you have any babies." Blah blah.
Yeah, I have told them that.
Yeah, which is weird, right?
No, I don't think it's weird. I think it's responsible.
Yeah. When did you have a kid? What age?
27.
20. Well, no wonder. That's
yeah. I mean,
he's a late bloomer.
I mean
30. 30.
You got a kid at 30?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want them to get their education, get things, be settled. I mean, I would love to have a grandchild, yeah, but not when they're like 20-something when they're not married. You know what I mean? I want them to be responsible.
I think I was making that point that society keeps pushing the goalposts back for those things, right? So for
like further out,
for marriage, for childbearing, for family, all that kind of stuff, we're like, wait.
Sure,
that was my point.
Yeah, I think that's more or less what
you
he was
can wait.
talking about.
You can wait too long.
Yeah.
But I think jumping in isn't the.
No, that's not the right answer either.
There's certain things that you shouldn't just jump into. They're worth some consideration, some degree of maturity going into it, I think.
I think, well, I guess is my argument, right? Is that true?
Yeah, because I was going to say back in the day, people died real early. So that means, people died 55, 54.
Who are the happiest married people you know?
They had to do things early.
No, okay.
Who are the happiest married people you know?
The people who have been together the longest, who were basically their first love experience. Yeah, that's different. That's different. I'm talking about somebody who is 30 meeting somebody and then it's like 2 weeks later, I want to get married.
No, I'm talking about talking to 18-year-olds. I'm talking about talking to young people.
You're talking about young people.
Okay. About
starting marriage early or something like that.
Well, okay, for me, I tell my kids, go to school, get a career. As a matter of fact, they know the best days of my life was when I was raising my kids.
Yeah.
I've never talked bad about having kids.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the little sisters, and I treat two sisters that are younger than they are, and I treat them like they're my own daughters.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is I've never, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that love having your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell my kids no. I'll tell you one thing, though. I remember when, and I still remember this to this day, when I think it was after we had our first child, I was at work and I was talking to this girl and I asked her, "Do you have kids?" She goes, "Kids, they'll suck the life right out of you." And the way she said it, I never forgot it. I was like, "Whoa, that was a strong." You know what I mean? Yeah. She meant it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people talk that way.
So with marriage for like a young, I think that the younger, within reason, you can be, and find someone who is equally yoked, who shares the faith with you and everything like that. I think the younger you can do that, yes, because
the waters haven't been so tainted. Yeah, by
and
that time.
The waters haven't been tainted.
Well, you leave less room. You leave less room for like some of the things that can become detrimental to marriage later if you allow too many things to happen. You know what I'm saying?
What?
So if you're out here like playing the field or whatever, right? And you're like, oh well, I'll get married later. Then, for example, you open yourself up to maybe, sexual experiences and things like that could be detrimental.
What's detrimental about it?
We've had this discussion. See the podcast. There's
episode 32.
I argued back then that there is a blessing to going into a marriage with
a little oblivious.
Not oblivious.
Naive? Innocence?
No. Innocent. More innocence. Where both of you are as close as possible to being your first experience with each other.
Okay.
I think the more that can a marriage that didn't go that way be successful? Sure. But I think that there's a reason that God kind of ordered that. And so following that ideal, there's kind of a blessing in that,
What do you think? You agree?
I think there's definitely less hurdles you have to go through the younger a relationship starts.
What would you tell your son though? What would you want when you want him getting married?
When he feels comfortable and he's happy with the choice that he's made, that he isn't feeling rushed, he feels that he's being supported, they're on the same page. And most importantly, they both are believers. That's the only thing I really tell them. I said, hey, look, she could do whatever, but try to make sure that she's of the same accord, because that long term could cause problems. That's the only thing I tell him, because other than that, he's going to do what he wants. I want him to do what he wants.
Do you think culturally we have an issue though?
Culturally, in what sense?
Racially, culturally, we have pretty low rates.
I would say this. There's a lot of undertones of racism in this country.
That's not what
more. Wait, but let me finish. Okay. There's a lot of undertones of racism in this country, but at the same time, on the other note, it's also a beautiful thing to see all the diversity that this country goes ahead and holds. And I think that's something we should be proud of. The fact that we have all these different social, economical, cultural differences, and we're able to cohabitate, because bottom line, we're all humans, right?
What are you talking about?
I thought you were just talking about not being able to go ahead and
No, I'm saying to you, do you think there's a racial component and a cultural component that certain groups do not promote marriage, specifically marriage and early marriage?
Not early
you're saying,
marriage.
Are there any particular cultural groups that...
No, they definitely are.
But I'm saying, so which ones are they?
I'm saying that African American community would have like the lowest. And specifically men would have the lowest level of commitment.
Which is a flip, because it didn't start out that way.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. That's another conversation we need to talk about at another podcast. Systematic racism and the constant.
Like different races promote whether to get married earlier.
We can talk about that
not.
later.
Yes.
I don't know. I think
the numbers are the numbers.
But the numbers are manipulated through the systems that are being implemented to create these certain circumstances in
You
family.
think the numbers are manipulated?
No, man. Listen to
No,
the
no,
music
no.
that people listen to nowadays. Who's singing about, like, I mean, back in the early 90s, we were still hearing R&B songs about, R&B isn't even about marriage and love anymore. It's about, it's a musical rap song.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're right.
Find me a good R&B song like the ones we grew up with back in early high school and stuff like that. It doesn't exist anymore. That's not promoted. It's get out, get yours, as many as possible.
Yeah. You're right.
None of that is conducive to marriage.
That's hip hop in the current state. That isn't
But I don't
that
think-
isn't
I don't-
cultural to a specific demographic, because we all know hip hop is all over, right? Hip hop is Denmark, hip hop is Mexico, hip hop is all over. Hip hop
Yeah,
isn't just black.
I don't think
Right?
that just
It might have been founded through the black and brown community, which it was in the Bronx, but it has spread now. It's a global force that has all shapes and creeds in there.
Yeah, a lot.
And I will
agree
go
with
ahead and
that.
say
I
that,
mean, a lot of people
you know,
do. Can I say?
Wait a minute. I mean, I don't want to be a
I
jerk.
know. I know.
I'm just saying
we're
the
switching.
numbers are the numbers.
And-
That what? That more
and-
African American kids don't get married?
Yes.
Well, I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't care what the numbers are. Like I told you, those numbers are the results of systems
But
that's been implemented in this country for decades.
But you see
that
that
have made
Like
a
the welfare
psyche
state, like the
that
welfare
has-
state that
has made an effect on people's. No, it ain't a joke.
Let's
If-
not make
if-
this
if-
a
if-
racial thing.
No,
because
it isn't about
that
racial.
stuff
It isn't
is
about racial. This is
everywhere.
about facts, right? We're talking about facts.
That stuff is
You know,
everywhere.
there's things called redlining.
Nowadays,
There's
That's
do
not
you
doing
know
marriage, though.
What
no,
is that talking
no,
about?
no.
These are values.
No,
These are
no,
just
no.
values.
But
What you
that's
value.
how.
That's
But that's how
everywhere.
the whole
Hold on.
system works.
But let's
it
go
starts
slow.
with the family, and they erode the black and brown family. Back in the day, I'm not saying now, but back in the day, there was things put in place to go ahead and hinder the family of color to go ahead and move ahead. How is that so? Because there were programs back in the day that people used to go ahead and survive and be able to really support each other. One income, like electricians, plumbers, AC technicians. These are all things that people was able to do while they was in high school and get a trade and then go to either factories or unions and make a great living.
You can still do that now.
They cut those programs out. I'm not saying they don't still have the opportunity, but they cut those programs out. They're not as easily accessible as they was back in the day. And that's
my nephew.
and that's
my
just
nephew
one of
graduated
many.
high school early, and he's
That's
in trade school for plumbing right now.
no, but that's beautiful. But the thing is this:
He's
I'm
younger
saying-
than my daughter.
But what I'm saying is they used
obstacles
to
would stand in the way of
to
somebody
go
now?
ahead and have those programs while in high school. They didn't have to graduate high school. It was a
No.
program in high school that people used to go ahead and
Yeah,
get trades.
but-
I'm talking about the 60s and 70s.
But listen,
Right? I'm talking about back then. That's how it was.
So
Anyway,
so you think
I think it's too long an episode for me to get into all the ramifications because I could go into a lot of other things, but I don't think we really got the time for that right now.
we're switching
You know.
topics here in a way.
No, he's talking about numbers, and I'm going deeper than the numbers because he's saying, hey, the numbers show that African Americans are more prone not to go ahead
Can
and
I
want
say
marriage.
something?
Yeah,
Can I say
of
something?
course, bro.
You know, you're saying that the music and the culture is definitely spreading out to all different white, blacks, Hispanics. Come on, bro. The other day I was in, can I say the town? St. Cloud, and I see a freaking.
Can I say it? Yes, you can.
I see a big Ford truck with huge tires and a guy with a hat, with a baseball cap or whatever, and he's listening to rap. And he's like, like that, you know what I mean? That deep rap or that they listen to nowadays.
Yeah.
That stuff, everybody's listening to that. Every culture is
Listening
and
is one thing though, but trying to
no.
emulate what you hear is another. I mean, I've listened to hip hop all my life, and I never went out to.
Bro.
I mean, you test me and you can get shot, but I don't want to shoot somebody just for no reason.
Who is
Maybe things are going off the track.
no, listen. Who's smoking
Maybe-
the most
maybe things are going a
what's
little
the
bit
other stuff that they got out now? Crystal meth. You know that it ain't the
Christian meth? What?
crystal meth.
Crystal.
Oh,
Christian.
Crystal.
He ain't talking about clothes, Mike. He's a
Bro, hold on. Okay, so hold on.
I don't know how we got to crystal meth. I really don't.
You don't think there's any personal responsibility?
Of course, there's always going to be personal responsibility. I'm not ignoring that.
So that's all I'm asking. I'm asking you.
No, I'm agreeing.
I'm asking.
I'm agreeing.
It didn't sound like it.
There's some
it sounded like
no. I wasn't trying to go ahead and just accept the numbers without giving further context to why those numbers are like that. It still
you think the numbers
away.
aren't personal responsibility?
No. I'm saying it still doesn't change the fact that people do need still personal responsibility in these type of decisions, right? I was just trying to give you further context as to why those numbers are more or less could be like that.
So you think?
Because I'm not.
You think it's not personal responsibility? It's a result of systems, not personal responsibility.
No. It's a combination.
Okay.
How about that? I'll put a combination.
I don't see why we're making this whole thing about a cultural, racial thing. I mean, I'm going to tell you.
I didn't really start the question.
I'm going to tell you something though. If the black community is the one that's the highest percentage, I'll tell you one thing. I think the other communities are catching up a little quicker than we think they are, because there's a lot of young white kids, a lot of young Hispanic kids who are getting just as messed up. That's why I bring up
absolutely. Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, namely, are so many people assume that a Puerto Rican or a Dominican guy they're going to cheat, they're going to lie, they're going to steal this and that. That's the assumption. We're not a monolith, though. I mean, I don't personally associate with anyone who is of that bent. I'm around people who are in successful relationships, or at least trying that, right? But there's a cultural component that kind of what do you value? Yeah. And again, if you value the club life and going out and this and that, there's a cultural component there. No, it's not everybody. That's what I'm saying.
The point. I'm making a very strong point.
But if you subscribe to that culture,
you can't say.
Yeah,
okay, so
that's what you celebrate.
So are there in every racial group?
Yeah.
Are there in every racial group people that don't hold marriage and family and those values in high esteem? Yes.
Of course.
But is there some racial groups that it's exponentially higher?
But why are we even going there? That wasn't the first. How did we get to this point? I don't even know.
What is the point you're trying to make, Mike? About it being exponentially higher. What's the point? Because obviously you're trying to make a point with that, but somewhat exponentially higher.
What's the point?
What's the point of it? I'm acknowledging. Okay,
my point.
It's exponentially higher. What is your point behind this?
Okay.
Yeah, Mike. What's the point, Mike?
I'd love to give it to you.
I'm just waiting.
So if I said to you, hey, I was speaking on living life for something that means something. And if there are groups, whether they're cultural, socioeconomic, or racial, that don't value those things as high as other groups, we can't even say it out loud?
Oh, who said anything about saying anything out loud?
Well, it sounds like I'm getting shouted down.
No, nothing's about being shouted down.
I think it'll be interesting when you go back and look at this podcast.
No, how about this? When you talk about exponentially higher.
I think if you notice the audience, they're laughing at you.
You know what the problem is? The problem is that I don't think we're really fact-checking and we're really doing the percentages right. Because if I was to go ahead and take out the phone and really do percentages on single-family households, I think you'll be surprised at what demographic comes up. Now, go ahead and do your Google. No, please, continue to Google. Let the audience know.
But you think I'm wrong?
No, I'm saying for you to go ahead and back it up, search Google and ask what's the highest percentage of single-parent households. I want to know that demographic. I want to know what the cultural background of that percentage.
I mean, come on.
Wait, no.
Come on.
Do you think you know the answer?
No,
yes.
I just want to go ahead and see it. I want to see it. Throughout the country.
Which racial group has the highest number of single-family households?
Per capita or by percentage? Yeah.
African Americans, 61%.
Okay.
Gee.
No. That is not the whole American. No, that's within the black community. I said overall America. You're going within the community.
No.
You're saying 60% of black. I'm saying what's the percentage of America?
Well, look, as for white.
Everybody.
Look for white.
No, I'm saying everybody. No,
which
I just
racial
want
group
everybody.
per capita has the highest number of single-family households?
I ain't just talking about within the black community. I'm talking about everybody within this 330 million people here.
Black and African American families have the highest number of single-family households, particularly single-mother households, when measured as a percentage of the total of the population
Of America?
of racial groups.
Of
all racial groups.
So all racial groups.
Oh boy.
Yes.
No. I'm going to go
How
ahead.
is this news to you?
All racial groups with a 330 million population, and blacks is only 14% of that.
Right. That's
And
what
you're
per
saying-
capita
you're
means.
saying-
That's why it's alarming.
No,
That's
I'm
why
not
it's-
talking about per
yeah.
capita. I'm saying, so you're saying out of 14
It has to be
million-
per capita.
I'm
That's
saying-
what per capita means.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about numbers. I'm just talking about numbers.
Yes.
330 million people.
Yeah.
Yes. If you take
Blacks is 14%.
so they
You can't say
there's
how
now-
many. You can't say how many single black families are there. You can't say that because, of course, there's going to be fewer because there are fewer black people. Now, among that group, how many of the families are single parent or single?
Okay.
Then it's a higher percentage
Hold on,
within
yes,
the group.
hold on,
Yes.
hold on,
And I'll tell you
okay,
right
hold
now. And I'll tell you right now. Second is probably Latinos.
No, hold on.
It's not Asians.
Real quick.
It's not whites.
Real quick. Can I just say one thing?
It ain't
Real-
Indians.
It ain't Indians.
How about
Hold on. Real quick.
In a demographic
Real quick,
area.
real quick.
Whites in a demographic
Real quick.
area.
Can I just finish?
Uh-huh.
Compared by race, data shows that 47% of black mothers are single mothers compared to 25% of Hispanic mothers, 14% of white, and 8% of Asian.
Okay, but how
Asian is
about-
probably
how
the
about-
lowest
how
on
about-
any of these.
Well,
yeah.
Now-
how about demographics, though?
All right.
No,
Hey,
it does make
now-
a difference.
now let me
no,
ask
no,
you
no,
this.
no, no.
That's what he
No,
just.
no, Mike.
That's what he just.
Mike,
no.
Mike,
I'm talking
you made
about,
a point, right?
No.
Very
He's
good
not
point.
talking about demographics. Demographic is in a certain, like inner city.
Mhm.
Inner city.
It would be
people
much,
who
much
live in-
higher.
No, I'm talking about whites. In inner. No. Because this is the thing. These people, you always talk about percentages,
Oh,
but a lot of if we're looking at white Americans who live in the suburbs, of course the numbers are going to be very low because they're all family oriented and all that. If you got Hispanics who are living in the suburbs, the percentages are going to go very low
Sure.
because they're well educated kids, and they have different principles.
They've
Yeah.
made similar choices to end up in similar places in life.
Let me finish. There's a lot of black communities who live in suburbs and they have kids who grow up with values
Yeah.
and all that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the point being is if you're trying to make a big deal out of the percentages, well, yeah, a lot of the black community live in inner city, and we all know that there's a big problem in inner city communities with black African Americans.
100%.
That's not nothing new.
100%.
That's
and
not
I would like
nothing new.
and I would like you to do
But
this, Mike.
when you start
Can you tell me
saying-
what those percentages was in 1960s?
No.
No. I'm just asking.
lower.
I'm going to answer your
Much
question. Can you
lower.
give me a second to
All
answer?
right. All right.
Okay. It's earlier than that. The question you're asking is earlier than that. And yes,
I just want to see the
I'm about to answer.
discrepancy
I'm gonna answer
of
for
what
you.
it was in the 60s versus now.
I'm going to answer for it.
All right. Thank you.
During times of segregation and pre-segregation, the numbers were almost completely flipped. They had one of the lowest rates.
All right. So something happened between 1960s to now.
Mhm.
And you're saying that you don't know what happened.
No,
Do you-
I'm
do you
definitely
really-
not saying I
do
don't know.
you
what
Okay,
happened.
so what do you think happened?
Do
over
you
those-
really
What do you think happened over those couple of decades? You think it was just something that's flipped, that these families who had high marriage and high family standards all of a sudden got to where we are
Look up Lyndon B. Johnson's
coincidence-
Great Society.
coincidentally, or through no manipulation? You think that's what happened?
I didn't say that.
No, I'm asking a question. I didn't say you did. I'm just asking a question.
Well,
What's your thoughts?
my thought is this. My thought is that if you look back historically, I'm happy to entertain the idea that there still are, and there were governmental structural.
Why is it hard for people just to admit
let
that?
them talk.
But I just want to say something because it seems like you're tap dancing, you're doing ballet. Why is it so hard for people to just admit, hey, we screwed black people back in the day? Why is it so hard to just say it? Why is it so hard to say the government took advantage of colored people back in the day? I mean, it's documented. It's in FBI files, counter Interpol law. I mean, it isn't like we don't know this. But for some reason, when it's time to go ahead and really, express that as to the reasons why some of these numbers are the way they are, we start like running for cover. We don't understand. And this is the whole nutshell in the genesis of why things have went so disarrayed within the community.
I guess what I'm trying to say, and that I keep getting interrupted on, is that at the times in history,
feel a little passionate
when the
about
black
this.
community was the most oppressed, they were most family oriented. After
and outpacing whites in a lot of metrics.
Well, being that you want to make sure that you stress that they were segregated when they had that high family standard, let me go ahead and also stress when you have nobody else to go to but yourselves, of course you're going to stick together. Because there is nobody else but you to be in, because everybody else is shunning you and outcasting you and putting you in other situations that are normal human being that has the basic civil liberties that every human should have doesn't.
Look,
so in that aspect,
but not that oppression is good. But once you introduce freedom, if you run from that, what does that say?
I'm not talking about oppression is good. I'm not talking about play devil's advocate. I'm just telling you, based on what he told me, if segregation is where they went ahead and had the highest percentage, it's due to them being alienated. It was alienated. It isn't like they was asked to come into society. We were shunned from society besides the labor and the economic power we brought to this country. Right?
Brought to this country?
Yeah, because, not brought, when we was
created
and brought. Brought. I'm talking about slaves, right?
Had a hand in?
No, I'm talking about slaves, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do know how black people got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that means they're brought to the country. Okay, we'll go back to brought.
George,
so when they're brought to the country,
sold by whom?
Sold by who else? Their own.
Okay.
All right, because let's not forget this. Slavery has been around for a long time, but we're not talking about slavery in the world's history. Yes, exactly.
Right,
we're not talking about the world's history. We're just talking about American history, right? That's what we're sticking with. So when it comes to American history and the plight of the colored people, we can go ahead and admit they was mistreated, misused, abused, taken advantage of. There was laws enacted. There was a lot of things that took place that hindered the development and progress of this particular demographic.
Absolutely.
So if we want to go ahead and tap dance around it and be like, well,
but hold on,
I don't really
just
know,
real quick,
I don't really
just real
know
quick.
this and that. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade.
But hold on, just real quick, just so that I'm clear.
All right.
Because you're saying that there were all of these things put in place. And I agree that there was a number of things, depending on the years you pick. Like if you want to pick segregational years, if you want to pick pre-segregation into slavery years, or if you want to pick post-segregation.
I don't care what year, bro.
Okay.
How about from 1800s to now, bro? You're making it seem like what year? It's all been screwed.
Okay, but hold on. Can I just finish the thought?
Yes.
Okay. So whatever years you want to pick, I think everybody at the table, I don't know anybody that would not admit that there weren't a number of things that happened from a societal standpoint, from a governmental standpoint, from a structural standpoint, that weren't hindrances to economic and societal freedom-based stuff, right? But tell me.
Yeah, exactly. Tap dancing.
What'd you say?
Economic and free state. Why don't you just say it in plain English, layman terms? Okay. I admit we did screw you guys.
That's it. Who's we? Who's we?
America.
Okay.
America.
I'm saying that. That's exactly what I'm saying.
But you said it in such language that Felipe couldn't even understand you.
So,
Dang, he said you couldn't understand, bro.
Okay.
He did say he did say he didn't.
Okay, hold on.
That.
So we're there during slavery, there was enslavement. Post-slavery, there were laws that enforced segregation. Post-segregation, there were laws that disenfranchised the black community.
Correct.
Everybody's on board, right?
Yes.
Tell me what law kept them from valuing marriage.
All right. Now, this is the thing that I'm trying to tell you. When there is economic pressure on the family, right? Especially when it comes to men, right?
Mm.
When it comes to men, because the pressure of a family falls on a man, and they can't provide the way they would like to. This goes ahead and starts breaking away at the psyche because now they can't do what they either used to do, like, hey, I used to be able to provide for my family, or they're frustrated because they can't even get the opportunity to do it. So now that their psyche is messed up due to this, due to those economic fundamental changes that you already admitted was taking place, now people run to things, right? And that's why I said it's a combination. These things now take place, and now the person is affected in their personal choices through that stress, right? They're drinking now, right? This is where drinking comes. This is where drug abuse comes. This is where infidelity comes because they're running and chasing and trying to numb the pain from not being able
but
to
hold
go
on.
ahead
If I
and
can't
do
afford
their. Go
to
ahead.
provide for a family, and I run around and then make more babies with multiple women,
I'm not saying
didn't
that
I make my problem worse?
I'm not saying that everybody is doing things the right way. I'm not trying to give excuses for anybody. I'm just trying to tell you that things have been situated in a certain way that this outcome is going to be more prevalent.
No,
Because when you
hold
go,
on, just to examine that a little closer, just so that we're clear. You're saying though that the time when they were most oppressed and the
No,
least hold on,
all right.
had the least ability to earn and provide, we see that they did have value for marriage. And then at a time when they were more free and more capable, that they don't. How does that work?
All right. Let me tell you how it works. I want to go and explain it again.
Hmm.
When they was oppressed and making less money, first off, you didn't need that much money to go ahead and live a happy life back then, right? So you could still have a certain degree of happiness without making that type of money. Now they get the money, they get more money availability, but if you could make more money, but you don't have access to make it, how is that going to go ahead and help you?
Okay,
How is that going to
listen.
help you? All right, I got access to make more money. All right, we can make more money now, but nobody's hiring me. Nobody wants to go ahead and give me the job, or the job that I'm getting is subpar, minimum wage, under the table, that I'm not really going ahead and making the right type of income. And once again, this is not a broad stroke saying every situation like that, but there are more than enough situations that have went ahead and played out like that.
Hey,
And for
can
us
I
to
say
ignore
something?
it, yeah, go on.
I just looked something up. I thought this might be an interesting point. I looked up the percentage. I chose white America, but
White America.
White America. Hold on, yeah, because hey, listen, we gotta represent.
He's silly. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
But the answer it gave me is people overall, all nationalities,
Okay.
according to this. All right, jeez. Data is specific to the percentage of broken homes for only white Americans during the Great Depression is not available. However, historical data indicates that overall family stability changed significantly across the entire population. The economic strain caused a decline in marriage and divorce rates while simultaneously increasing rates of desertion. And that was for everybody
Right.
that wasn't lower
That
economic.
proves my point. That proves my point.
What is your point?
That proves my point. So if everybody's in decline, okay, but one group or two groups are doubling, their decline is double from the others. Should we don't have to look at that?
Once again, right here, the answer here is caused by economics. What I just read, there was a high percentage, right? Now, who is more economically better off in this country? Who?
People that make better economic decisions.
No. That's true. No, that's true. That's true. But who is better off economically in this country? Mainly white America, right?
No, absolutely not.
No?
No.
Okay.
Well, Asians Americans are the highest. If you're asking for the highest racial group, it's Asians.
As far as money.
Sure.
Okay, who's second?
Indians. No, I'm not joking.
No,
Probably Indians. Probably
no,
Indians.
ain't no probably. I already know. It's Asian and Indians.
So Asian. What's the highest percentage of broken homes in the Asian community?
8%.
Don't you think that?
That's my point. There's a direct connect between economic success and value for marriage.
I don't know if that's your point. I haven't heard that being your point the whole time, but I don't know. If that was your point, and it got really muddy, to tell you the truth.
Maybe a little bit, because that is true. You know, economics do play into that.
I will say, I don't know how we got here.
No,
right?
I guess what I'm asking
I will say this. Although I would advise a younger couple to be like, hey, the sooner you can get married, the better it's going to be for both of you, right? I think that young folks today are not en masse as mature and emotionally prepared to enter marriage
educationally
as they were
emotionally.
No,
that's
not
why,
at all.
That's why what I mentioned with my kids.
Do you think it's educational though?
Of course, education has a lot to do with it.
I think it's not. I think we live in a time where we know more than we've ever known. The kids know more than they've ever known. They're just, we don't value it. We don't value.
Are you saying? Wait. Just
well,
wait.
They don't value. Let me. They don't learn.
Are you saying education like book education, or like in Puerto Rico we say la educación, which is more like about like what we instill in them?
Both, but I'm talking about educationally, so you can get a good job, and you can be stable financially before you get married and have kids.
Yeah.
If you never get it,
but you have to want that.
If you, I understand.
Yeah, but if
and people want it throughout all the cultures.
They do.
Nah, nobody wants to be successful, Mike. No.
No. Marriage and family.
You think marriage and family is uplifted throughout all the cultures?
I would think that there's somebody in all those cultures that uplifts marriage and family.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
but
you can't see a difference.
The rates are definitely different.
Yeah, but you can't see a difference between Asian culture and honor culture.
And then we just admitted it's an economic difference with those decisions, right? The more economically successful you are, the more apt you are to make better decisions and be inclined.
No, I was making the opposite. I was saying
moral.
The more you valued.
You're saying the less you make, the more you value. The more you make, the less you value?
No, I'm saying the more you value family and marriage, the higher level of success typically culturally you achieve.
But that's what I just finished saying, Mike. I said when you make more better money economically,
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the opposite. You're saying money leads to values of family. I'm saying family leads to money.
If there's family value,
the family leads to money.
Yes. And the fact that you're saying it that way says to me that we're on a disconnect.
All right. Yes, we are because to me, when I feel a family is more economically has more economic resources, right? Because there's been things instilled to them to get to that point. They make better decisions. Whereas a family who doesn't have those things instilled to them to make those economic decisions, to make that income, to be a little bit more successful, when those things are absent from them and they're ignorant of those things, yes, they're going to make decisions that are not reflective of uplifting society as a whole. That's what I'm talking about. And I would hope what you said is the same thing. What you said is opposite. I don't understand how family goes ahead and it makes the money other than, and maybe this is where you're talking about, because that's the only thing, family, telling family that you need to get an education so you could be successful, because that's the only thing I could think about that you're saying family is success.
No, I understand what you're saying, Mike.
Please tell me what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's definitely not even close.
When there's a strong family value, people are more likely to succeed.
Yeah.
When there's some more,
it tends to go hand in hand with choices that would be
married
lead
couples.
To success.
Married couples have a higher net value, economic net value than singles. That's just
But we're talking about why isn't it like promoted though? Not about what the
No, I'm saying
what
to
the
you,
effect
I'm
is
saying to
after.
you that if you have a culture, that's why. Okay, so in an honor culture, in an Asian culture,
But you're already talking about after the fact, Mike, of them getting married.
No,
We're
you're
talking
not
about
listening.
before they get married.
right? You're not listening.
Okay.
So in an Asian culture where marriage is held up in high regard and high esteem, and families stay together,
Family, yes.
and there is family value there, that family has a better chance of economic success than a single or a person starting kids all over with different women.
Okay,
Yeah, but that would go with any family, not particular. Any family
Yes.
could fit into that scenario
why,
you just said.
why are Asians nailing this?
Yeah.
No, because
So why
No.
wouldn't we want to emulate those things?
Yeah.
And why would one or two cultural groups hold up in either their public values or their arts or their music or everything and say we don't value this?
okay.
Well, I think the thing is, how did those, including the Hispanics, let's just put it on the table, the Hispanics and the blacks. All right? That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
That's what we're talking
Okay.
about, right? The Hispanics, mainly Puerto Ricans. No. Let's talk the truth. Maybe Dominicans. too.
Wait, Puerto Ricans and Dominicans are normally right there. We're right there.
All right.
like,
Puerto
mainly the
Rican,
Dominicans.
Puerto Rican, anybody from the islands.
Us Caribbean Latinos are right there. We're right there. We're normally a little bit different than the Central Americans, the South Americans. Yeah.
Why?
Oh, without a doubt.
Hold on. Why?
Because okay.
There's just a
I'll
cultural
tell you-
aspects
I'll
that we
tell
can
you why.
we
I'll tell you
celebrate like,
why.
hey, el papito, el puto.
No,
you know
no,
what I'm
no.
saying? How many girls can
But
you
why?
I'll tell you why. Because there's less oppression.
Oh my God.
That's the damn
get?
truth.
No.
You think
Of
there's less
course.
oppression than in Central America? Get the
No, because
bro. Why?
that's
I
don't think
the
that's
thing is,
cultural.
I can I can recognize it and speak to it. The thing is that my personal experience, I come from a family that we are big on family and marriage. That doesn't mean that there haven't been divorces and this and that. So I can recognize this issue, right, and speak about it.
Yeah, but you're
But-
not. You're ignoring.
But I don't come
the-
from that experience.
Yeah, but
because
you're
my
ignoring the
family
main
is
thing.
very big on family and
Yeah, but
marriage.
what?
And I'll tell
Hold
you-
on. Stop. Hold on. What is it about Central America, South America specifically? Take any country down there.
Okay.
What is it?
That what?
That they have less divorces?
Yeah. Why?
Why they have less divorce?
Why they value marriage higher than some other groups and have less divorce, less broken homes? Why?
South Americans.
They're less westernized. I will say that. I think the more Western the values to a degree, the more individual freedom is
No.
valued.
No.
Yes, when you value your individual freedom over like the sacrifice and commitment of a marriage, then marriage kind of goes, because it's like, well, my personal individual freedom is higher, and that's typically a Western value
I could kind of
versus
go ahead
an
and see what
Eastern
he's
value,
talking
which is
about.
like Asian, which is more family and honor.
Because if you're
That's
in a country,
honor culture. That's different.
Right.
But in Central and South America, the reason that you have numbers that are skewed towards family and less divorce is religious. They're
Okay,
highly
okay.
Catholic.
Right.
They're highly Christian.
Well, so are
they
we.
value certain values.
So are
Not
we.
every culture. Not every culture.
What do you
Puerto
mean?
Rico historically was very Catholic. In America, blacks tend to be, to this day, per capita, I would say more religion adjacent than white folks.
No. Not every group.
What do you
Not
mean?
every group.
we're talking about
what?
subsets now.
What do you
Not
mean?
every
Are
white.
we
Not
getting
every,
into subsets?
Sure.
not every white.
I think as a whole,
Well, let's be honest. Well, can't we just be honest?
I'm being
That's what
completely
I've been
honest.
trying to say the
Okay.
whole damn
Take
episode.
what's unusual about every black denomination?
How many black denominations are there? I just want to know. So I know how many shades
Over
of black.
50.
We're doing 50 shades of black? Okay.
Christian denominations.
Let's
you
go.
mean?
Over all Protestant black churches, what's the unusual thing?
What do you mean? What's unusual?
They
I don't know.
consist mostly of women.
Of women. Of women.
Protestant
full of
churches.
women.
The men
Protestant?
are
They're full of women.
Yeah.
But is
How
it
did you
women?
not know that?
Wait, because I'm not like a church statistical guy. I'm not, you're the pastor, bro.
Well,
I'm not the pastor. That's for you to know.
But
so what I'm saying
but
is this,
again,
though.
that's also across the board.
But
most
yeah,
churches,
that's what I'm about to say. Isn't
no,
most churches woman majority?
Look.
No.
So America,
I think the
woman.
discrepancy
yes.
is less, but for the most part, most
lot
churches
less.
are more filled with more women or feminine men.
Seriously. No, you're wrong. I'm just telling you, if you look at the numbers, we can look at those numbers too. But if you look denominationally and you look racially, those numbers are skewed.
Yeah.
So you're saying that in
I'm
America,
agreeing with you there. I think
I
we're
just wanna
missing
make
each
sure I
other.
got this
but,
right.
Yeah.
You're saying in America, the church demographic gender-wise is mostly male.
No.
That's what I was. That's
I'm
what
saying
we was
in
trying to say.
Black America.
No, I'm saying overall.
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying
overall.
general. Why we keep calling
Overall.
it black?
Because it's skewed.
No, I'm talking about overall.
right, so how about white?
That's what
So
I'm trying to say.
white-
Overall.
You can say overall very slightly.
Is it all churches mostly women?
No, it's slightly skewed.
Wait, do we have?
What do you mean skew?
Do we have a demographic breakdown of
Mike,
the Vine?
look it up.
Wait, of the Vine. Do we have a demographic breakdown of the Vine? Don't we have more? There's more women.
So you know more
there's
stats
more
about everybody
women
else's churches
involved.
than ours?
There are more women involved in the church.
A lot of Hispanic
I don't
women.
think so. I don't know. It wouldn't be much. Let's say it's 60-40.
No, it's probably
Say it's 60-40.
No, I completely agree
Okay.
that it's the spread is narrower.
Yeah.
I agree there. I think we're on the same page. We're missing each other maybe on some of the details, but I know what you're saying as far as that goes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. The church has
But let's say
presented a very feminine version of Christianity that turns a lot of men off. That's one aspect.
How you think we could get more men in the church? Let me ask you that.
I think what I'm trying to say is if we're going to the guys sitting around this table, I think have a high level of respect and value certain Christian ideals.
Mm-hmm.
All of us sitting here do this.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you do. We have two Hispanics, a in between, and one white guy right here. Right?
I'm in between. Now.
Well, I'm just saying.
You got to put in each camp.
I love you.
You got to put in each
foot
camp.
in each camp. You got to
I
foot in
love
each camp.
Yes, I know.
You know,
I
you got to put in
It's
each camp.
true. It's true.
So here's the
That's
thing.
both of us.
We have a lot of diversity here, but all of you value certain things that we would call Christian ideals and Christian values.
Mhm.
But I guess what I'm saying is, as culturally we tend to shift, you look at the lowest generation, right? 18 and below, and obviously they're not sharing the same values, right? And specifically when you break it down to race, it gets very scary for certain groups.
Sure,
That's
sure.
all I'm saying.
Mhm.
And to say it out loud is not racist, it's
No.
reality.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
See, I agree with what you just said.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
First
saying.
off-
We start talking about this
first
one
off,
point, and then
Mike,
it gets all crazy.
Nobody called you racist. That's the first off. Okay, so let's you could replay the episode. Nobody called you racist. What we were saying is, what was the reason for you going ahead and bringing up these certain statistical exponentially rising, which you did a great job of explaining. I'm not even going to get into it, but I will say this. I think it might be something wider than cultural, though, Mike. I think this is a real spiritual attack on the youth in general, all colors, all races, all everything, because I feel like the general respect that the youth has nowadays has went drastically lower than what we remember it. And remember, our generation, our parents thought it went drastically lower from when we grew up. So if we're now saying that the kids is worse than us,
let me give you an anecdote.
that's like
let me give you an anecdotal example. Okay, we went on a mission trip this summer. Okay, and on the mission trip are a young couple. Okay,
I've seen them in the pictures.
Yes.
I don't know who they are, but I've seen them in
young
the pictures.
white Mormon couple. And for everybody that's listened to this that heard me just say all that, yes, it's complicated. We'll get back to that another day. Young white Mormon couple.
but they were serving.
Okay. 18 years old.
Mm.
Okay. They're getting married. I don't know. They might already be married for all I know. Who knows? Maybe if they're not married, they're getting married within days or months or weeks, right? In my opinion,
just the two of them.
well, they're not going to marry.
Yeah, it wasn't like a throuple or anything.
I mean, but Mormons.
I get it.
Jesus,
Sister wives.
help me, Lord.
This guy's talking about sister wives.
This guy. Now you're going to offend the Mormons too?
No.
Jiminy Christmas.
Hey, Felipe might be contemplating like,
Oh my God! Here we go.
We're talking about values.
okay, let's not go ahead and jump the teams
This
now.
guy,
Let's not team
this
switch
guy
on us,
is
Felipe.
about to start a holy war. Okay. In my opinion, I kept looking at them and I'm thinking, this couple will probably attain a higher level of happiness and a higher level of success than my kids will probably attain.
On a balance of probabilities, yeah.
And I don't know why we're not all rethinking and going, have we made a mistake here?
By not letting the kids get married early?
No, by not valuing it, promoting it, teaching it, instructing on it,
yes.
encouraging it.
That totally dropped the ball. We have totally dropped the ball.
Does that make sense?
We don't talk about anything about what you just said, Mike. No, you made a great point. Because we don't talk about that until we think that maybe they might be getting serious with somebody, but by that time their whole thinking and their framework is already completed, right? So nobody's really pouring into them to let them know, hey, look, these things you need to be looking for as you're getting older. We just wait to be like, hey, hold up, you think you're gonna marry this girl? Hey, let me have a talk with you now. Wait, this guy already been doing whatever for 15, 16 years. And now you're going to come over him because now you see he got a little girl. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. We need to go ahead and be proactive. We're too reactive. We're like, hey, just don't get her pregnant. Hey, just don't get her pregnant. Like, that's the talk. That's the talk.
I think our talk tends to point to the fact that subconsciously, whether it's been because we've been beat up through life, had personal bad experiences, have become cynical or jaded, are frustrated with the outcome of our own existence, whatever. I think that some of us talk actually points to the fact that we don't value it. We don't value it that much.
Us?
Yeah, us. I'm talking to us.
So
generally, Felipe,
wait.
generally, not you.
I think
No, but I mean,
I'm trying to
talking,
speak to myself.
We're humans. We're part of this.
We're all guilty of this to some degree. That's
I somewhat identify with what you've said here, right?
I think I do too.
Yeah, but check this out. Check this out.
You're right.
So obviously among our group, right? Some of the things I say for some comedic value. There's some truth in it, but
he's backpedaling already.
No. I'm not backpedaling. Let me tell you something. Within our group, there's certain things that I say that are meant to be like, hey, you know my experience. It's a little self-deprecating humor, right? Yeah. Check this out. Again, my folks are still together. They're married. Yeah. I never I was raised with values that said I in middle school and I was like, I want a wife. I want kids, and my decision to marry again at 29 years old was my personal decision. It was economically based. I was like, I'm not ready to take this on, right?
Yeah,
I wanted to go into it in the best position possible. So the thing that kind of slowed me down was more economics than anything, because it wasn't values. I wanted to be married. I wanted to have kids, and I didn't have my daughter until I was married. Like we were married, and then I had my daughter. I'm not, obviously people different paths in life.
No judgment.
No. But that's what ended up happening. Right. And it was short lived. It didn't last.
Yeah.
But the values but obviously I wasn't about to go anywhere. I was like, no, I'm going to pour into my child to this day. Again, she turned 18 last week, and we have a great relationship.
But we were raised with those values. Yeah. If we're going to go back, let's not dive back to that, but the African-American community, the ones that are having all this problem, they come from broken homes. So that's all they see.
Yes, Mike.
Kind of my point.
But
and it's been going. So it's not just this generation.
Yeah,
we're going back several generations.
I agree,
and it gets worse and worse.
But to some degree, you have to want to do better than
And a lot of people
you have
do.
you have to get to a point, and a lot of people do exactly. You go, I don't want that for my family.
No,
right?
exactly.
So you step out of it.
And that's
you
the thing.
can't keep making excuses.
Right.
And not only
You know,
that,
you have to take personal responsibility.
Yeah.
100%.
You know?
And the responsibility also comes to us, because if we want to see better for our kids, we have to do something as part of the parent to do something different, right? So we can't expect the kids to go ahead and be holding or knowing about these certain things or concepts if we're not trying to pour it into them ourselves. And that's where I feel we've dropped the ball on, because if they're not prepared for that and they're not being conditioned, and then they get hit with that situation and they're sidetracked or sideswiped, all we could do now is damage control rather than try to prep and be proactive, so then they can make those best decisions and not be stressed out. So once again, Mike, I think you made a great point when stating that. That's something that has to be done.
I just think that like we've got to examine the way we talk about it. We've got to examine what we celebrate, what we listen to, what we hold up in esteem, what we promote. And I'm saying to you that I'm as guilty of it as anybody else. I'm saying I'm not sure. I think it's all for different reasons. We've gotten to similar places for different reasons and different life experiences. But I do think that from take just the Vine and just the culture here. I'm not sure we've figured out how to celebrate. We know how to celebrate a safe place for brokenness, but I'm not sure we know how to celebrate a place that values success and unity and the family unit and all those things, as well as we've done for, like, dude, when you look at our church, let's just be honest. When you look at our church, me included, there's a lot of broken people here who find solace in the Lord and support and ministry and growth and sanctification. We fill up almost every night with support groups and people that want to find the Lord. And we're good at like being a place where normal people can come and talk, but I'm not sure we're great yet or have figured out how to look at somebody who is to look at the couples that have gotten, who valued marriage, valued families, started early, and who have made it through tough times, and we celebrate that and we hold it up and we go, guys, that's the example.
No, 100%. I think that has to do with discipleship.
I don't know exactly how we do that.
You don't think?
As a church? I
don't
congratulate people for that. I mean,
but
I think
maybe it's
I
me,
hold
maybe
them-
it's me, maybe it's the eldership, maybe it's the whole
Can
way
you
we
repeat
think.
the last part again? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just saying we're really good at taking broken people from all different aspects of life, whether it's chemical addiction or broken marriages or
acceptance.
Yeah, and accepting them and strengthening them and promoting them loving on them.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I'm a little worried that like as a culture, as a community, we're not also preaching, teaching, valuing, pointing to married couples, right, and family units who have achieved and made it and are successful, and going, that is the goal.
Yeah.
That's
the
what we
ideal.
should be
That's the
striving
model.
for.
Yeah.
You know who would do that? You know who I think does that?
Who's that?
Really, I think Amato. Him and Abby.
Okay.
I think, based on how I know in their history and how they
interacting
got
with
together,
the kids. They interacting with the
are
kids.
definitely in sync. I see the way they move, the way he honors her, the way she honors him.
That's one couple though. As a church, how do
How
we
do we
make that into the culture
But we're
of
saying
the church?
But we're trying to say we need to find an example first before we can go ahead and get there. And I'm
pull
saying
them up on Sunday.
everybody look. and I'm just saying that I think that they will be like a pretty good
but
example.
here, let me tell you why.
If we're gonna name people, which I understand shouldn't be cool, but I do want to say this. I was thinking about this the other day,
Okay.
and I really admire Sean and Lourdes.
Yeah.
Because all the time away,
Yeah.
and her being there,
Yeah.
and putting up with it, basically,
Yeah.
and
being faithful
support
and devoted.
it, and support it.
Yeah. No.
You know,
Yeah, it's we
when
should
they-
hold up these stories.
Yes.
That's to be commended. Yeah.
It's to be commended,
Yeah.
and because we're really quick.
Because trust me, people don't stay faithful on less time apart.
Okay.
Exponentially less time apart.
Exponentially.
But here's the
less.
thing. Here's the thing. You're right, but we're good at pointing out the brokenness. We're not good at culturally celebrating
don't we do
the
this?
success.
Why don't we do this?
Okay.
Just like you know, when you come back from Honduras,
Okay.
right? You have the kids or adults to come up and you interview them.
There you go.
Why don't you bring?
That's a good idea.
A couple married couples.
That's a good
Bring
idea.
a couple
I love
married
that.
couple and
I
have
love
them
that.
You're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to go up there. I know you don't like to.
Yeah,
but
you
you're
knew it
one
was
of them,
coming.
bro.
Yo, Mike.
Bro, to my
Mike.
daughter, when I talk to my daughter about
I just
relationships and
didn't
this
say
and that, I'm
I
telling
didn't
you,
say it,
Mike
but
and
you
Raina
know.
are among the couples
You
that
know.
I bring up.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I think it's valuable.
You're gonna have to
We
get a
don't
quick
celebrate
one.
it enough.
A quick one.
And we don't, but by celebrate it, I don't just mean that we name names. I mean that we create a culture where the youth group thinks twice and they go, oh yeah, that does look attractive.
Well,
To be young and to be married, to be happy and to build a family and like,
the day that you do that, you take all the youth and you put them in the front seat.
and you say, who wants to get married?
No, but I think he is onto something though. That is a good idea,
For me.
Felipe.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's for, right?
The day
It's
that
for
you
the
do
youth
that,
No.
to go ahead
you
and be
bring all
looking
the
at it.
youth instead of being in
Oh.
their rooms by themselves
100%.
doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Do that one of
You
your
bring
Sundays,
them to
bro.
the front.
And by the way, see, this is the word culture. We would be promoting or that culture, which at the beginning of the conversation is very important to not get into that space where we think culture equals race,
Yeah.
because
Cultures beyond.
I'm
it,
almost 50 years old now, and I grew up an Army brat. I grew up around all kinds of people. Throughout my life, yes, I've associated with people with maybe morals that weren't the same as mine, but at this point in my life, every black friend I have is married with children.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like every Puerto Rican that I know is married with children. You know, that I associate with. That I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, we do life together to some degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I know plenty of that aren't? Yeah. But the ones that I choose to be like, this is the culture that I want to be around.
Yeah.
All my black friends are married with children and careers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they defy the stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? But that's the culture that's above skin tone.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
culture.
bigger. It's
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
All right,
it
that's as far
definitely
as we
is.
can go for tonight. I
Definitely
wish we
is.
could fix it all today, but we can't. I think you see the problems. We're going to work on it. Love you, mean it. Peace.
Hey, love you guys.